This is Katie from Kentucky Hemp Works. We are back for another episode of Hemp Homeschool. Today we're going to talk about Hemp Hearts, which are very delicious, very easy to eat, and honestly one of the easiest ways to get your hemp nutrition, just because it's so simple. It's so easy to eat them. You can eat them plain, you can eat them with the spoon, but I'll get into all that in a little bit. So for today, just wanted to kind of focus on some of the processes and nutritional benefits of Hemp Hearts, because we don't actually process them in-house. So while I would love to be able to show you the actual equipment that's used to crack those shells open and remove those hemp hearts, since we don't have it, we'll just have to talk about it a little bit. So I've got some hemp hearts here, and basically what you're looking at here, this is the soft white inside part of the seed. So we typically will refer to that as the germ when we're talking about plants. So like a wheat germ, or the part of the seed that actually bursts open and bursts out of the shell when that seed is growing or starting to grow. So these are sometimes people call them hemp soft centers, but most people refer to these as hearts. So we talk about them, we refer to them as hearts. But really, if you imagine kind of on a larger scale, if you imagine it and how it's got a hard shell on the outside, but when you crack that shell and open it up, then you have the soft nut on the inside that you can eat. Hemp hearts are kind of the same way. The process is that those seeds will actually be cracked, and then the shells will be removed from the seed, and then what's left over is just these little white bits on the inside. I wish that we had equipment for that, but that maybe will be in the future. So for now, we've been importing them, and hope to launch Kentucky Hemp Works Hemp Hearts in the very, very near future. Trying to reconnect
All right,
again.
connected. We are connected.
Yeah, one of the downfalls of living in the country, while it's beautiful, absolutely peaceful and quiet, there's no people, it's very easy to quarantine yourself. But the downside to living and working on a farm in the boonies is you have very slow internet, very bad reception. So we thought that if we did this outside that maybe we'd get better reception, but we'll see how this goes. So anyway, so since we don't actually have them ourselves, but we do want to carry those and be able to share those with people and share all these really easy to get nutritional benefits, we will be launching those soon. So back to the nutritional benefits of Hemp Hearts. So when you think about the difference between getting your nutrition through hemp seed oil and hemp hearts, you're really looking at just different methods of ingesting it. So with the hemp seed oil, it's very green, it's very earthy and nutty flavor. It's not the most pleasant taste in the world, so it's kind of difficult to get people to want to just take a spoonful of hemp seed oil or add it to their salad or add it to their smoothies, because a lot of times it gives that earthy, grassy flavor, and not a lot of people like that. So with the hemp hearts, you still are going to have that nutty flavor, but not so much of that green flavor. So with these, it's very, very easy to eat them just plain, just as they are. So I talked about some of the nutritional benefits of hemp yesterday, of hemp seeds. And those benefits include, all these amino acids, omega-3, 6, and 9, some of the most important proteins that we use to build our cells in our body. Cells need to have proteins. They need to have these amino acids, and amino acids are another word for protein. So we need to have these things for cells to develop and build properly. And in order for us to have good brain function and good cardio function, We need good, clean blood. We need to have cells reproducing and building and developing all throughout our bodies. So hemp seeds are a perfect way to do that, and hemp hearts are just the easiest way to eat them and make sure you're getting those benefits. They also can be used for animals. I have some special guests today. I've been hanging on to these seeds here because I want to share them. But hemp seeds and hemp hearts and hemp meal, which was what we call our protein powder, it's all so good for humans, but it's equally beneficial for animals. And there's actually been quite a bit of research done on how beneficial hemp seeds can be for animals. So I've got some of my helpers today. So these are our chickens, and this is a hybrid chicken. These are called Red Star chickens, and they are incredibly spoiled. And they're spoiled because for the last couple of weeks we've had to stay at home. We've had to follow these whole quarantine guidelines, not going out and things like that. And I felt really bad for the chickens just because I felt bad for everybody. So I gave them a couple of handfuls of hemp hearts. Here, you can put her down. I'll give her some hearts here. Hey, girls, here you go. So these girls have gotten to the point now where they're not interested in their chicken food. They won't even touch it. In the mornings, I come out and I bring them a bowl of food and I sprinkle it around for them, and then I walk away and they just follow me. They don't even bother with it, and they follow me and basically just kind of gather around me until I get the hemp hearts out. So it's a little bit of an expensive way to feed your chickens, but at the same time they're getting these omega fatty acids and all these amazing health benefits, and then those health benefits are passing on to us through their eggs. So we don't eat our chickens, we keep them for eggs. They're layers. And Murray State University, which is a university in western Kentucky, in the city of Murray, Kentucky, Murray State University has actually done some research into the amounts of omegas that are transferred through the chicken and into their eggs. And what they found was the amount of omegas just absolutely skyrocketed off the charts. So feeding hemp seeds in whatever way you can get them. It might be cheaper to buy roasted seeds that are sterilized, because in this country we have to have sterile seeds. But it might be cheaper and easier to feed them whole seeds, and they're getting all that fiber and added protein as well. But in this case, my chickens are extremely spoiled and will continue to eat hemp hearts every day, probably until I run out of that package over there. Then they'll have to go back to eating corn and soybeans and scraps like all the other good chickens out there. So we had a couple of questions, and I wanted to answer some of those questions that were posted. So one of the questions, I believe Vince asked about the amino acids, and asked if hemp seeds help us to produce the essential amino acids, or the essential fatty acids that we don't produce ourselves. So when we talk about essential fatty acids, when we use that word essential, we mean it obviously, that it is essential to human function, like we have to have it. But when we talk about it in the sense of amino acids, we actually mean that our body doesn't produce them on its own, so we have to get them from our diet. So that's what makes them so essential for human function. We can't make them ourselves. Now there's lots of other things that are produced in the body, but essential fatty acids are not one of them, so we have to get them from our food, which is why it's so important to make sure that we have plenty of fruits and vegetables, good grain, farina, things like that are helping our bodies to build and develop and grow. Another question that was asked this morning on our Hemp Homeschool post was actually I think the question was, does the protein break down, or do you lose protein when you're baking with hemp? So if you take some hemp protein or hemp hearts or hemp seeds and you bake with them, are we going to lose? So I didn't know the answer to that right off the top of my head. So I did a little bit of Googling, and I searched it out. We can share the link to what I did find below. But there was a chef, I think that he was called the protein chef or something like that. But obviously he's got a lot of experience with proteins, and he goes into a great amount of detail, and he talks about breakdown when you're cooking them. But he also talks about how it's not that you're losing the proteins, it's that those protein chains, if you think about them like knots, like a rope with knots in it, that those knots are unwinding when you cook it. So if that is the case, then it's probably not a bad idea to cook your protein. You're probably not going to lose much as far as protein levels, but at the same time, if those protein chains are unwinding, then it's easier for your body to digest and absorb it. The last thing I will leave you with is a little bit of homework for today. But I did want to mention something that I learned. I just learned this morning from another hemp warrior out there in Kentucky. David, thank you for sharing this morning. But David was talking about harvesting blackberry leaves and honeysuckle and redbud. And I know that part of your homework from last week was to go on a nature walk and to build yourself a beautiful dandelion salad. So I thought I'd also mention, because I've got beautiful redbuds all around my property, how wonderful these flowers taste. So if you're anything like me, I know not a lot of people will do this, but if you're anything like me, if there's a flower and it's edible, I will eat it. I will try it. And these flowers are so good that I'm surprised that I never knew this before. And I'm really excited to know that I've got an amazing source of vitamin C and an amazing source of minerals and nutrients right here in my front yard. So look for a redbud. They're blooming all over Kentucky right now. We live in the Pennyrile area, and we're kind of very well known for having redbuds all over the place. They're gorgeous, and apparently they're just full of nutritional benefits for us as well. So hemp homework, we are going to get back into math homework. We do use a lot of math, but today's math assignment is going to kind of help you to build life skills for reading nutrition labels and finding out what it is that you need in your diet when you're shopping in the grocery store. So we used it, the questions are based off of Hemp Hearts, and essentially what you're going to do is just figure out, based on your own body weight, how much protein you need a day, depending on what your lifestyle is. So if you have a very sedentary lifestyle, or you're not very active, you're not lifting weights and getting a lot of exercise, then you won't need as much protein. But if you do get a lot of exercise, or you're a bodybuilder, or you have a very physically demanding job, then you'll need more protein. So this will just be kind of a good way to kind of build those life skills and be able to identify what it is that we need to be healthy and to have in our diets every day. I also have a link, and it's another research link. So once again, this link will link to other good information if you want to go down the rabbit hole. But this particular link talks about the benefits of hemp seed and those proteins and all that good stuff in your diet. Actually, I don't remember what it is, but we know it's about hemp. So
hemp seeds effects on memory and cognition, possibly?
Oh, that's it. It's hemp seeds effects on memory and cognition.
The irony.
So clearly, I need a little more hemp seed in my life. I am going to probably go share with the chickens and make sure that I'm, really protecting my brain health and my memory.
Shout out to Tanya on that.
Yeah. Shout out to Tanya, my sister, for posting that. We appreciate your help. I guess that's it for today. We will see you again tomorrow, and we'll talk about hemp protein.